My gosh, Marcus Alexander Zuckerberg, what have you done? In this episode, I am reacting to the Wall Street Journal article titled Zuckerberg's Grand Vision, Most of Your Friends Will Be AI. This will be a fun one for me, I'm sure. Let's go. Okay, so I'm reacting to this article about Mark Zuckerberg and how his grand vision is for most of your friends to be AI in the future. And this article is written by Megan Bobrowski for Wall Street Journal. The subtitle says, Meta's CEO is promoting a future where artificial intelligence is increasingly intertwined with people's lives. Let me pause right there. Welcome to Accidentally Intentional, where we are on a mission to break through surface level connection and build deep, meaningful friendships. So you can already see probably the take I'm going to have as a response to this article. Okay. The article begins by saying, Mark Zuckerberg wants you to have AI friends, an AI therapist, and AI business agents. Because why not? In Zuckerberg's vision for a new digital future, artificial intelligence friends outnumber human companions, and chatbot experiences supplant therapists, ad agencies, and coders. AI will play a central role in the human experience, the Facebook co-founder and CEO of Meta Platforms has said in a series of recent podcasts, interviews, and public appearances. I hate this so much. I'm going to stop right there just for a second because, well, let the rant begin. I have been talking about the threat of AI friendships for the past 2 years, and for this to come out of Mark Zuckerberg's mouth of all people is what I find insulting to all humans. And here's why. You created a platform which was supposed to be for what? Social connection. With who? Other humans. And now, this very same person, who not only is he not taking ownership for the fact that that made us more isolated and in fact less connected, he's doubling down and just deflecting away from it, saying, actually, AI is the future. AI will solve all the problems because my platform didn't the first time, except he's not saying that part. But this is crazy. Because if you were so for humans and social connection to begin with, you would think he would do the exact opposite move and start creating opportunities for human connection in existing platforms. Okay, let's continue. I think people are going to want a system that knows them well and that kind of understands them in a way that their feed algorithms do, Zuckerberg said Tuesday during an onstage interview with Stripe co-founder and president John Collison at Stripe's annual conference. What I love about this is he's just like randomly saying it. I think people are going to want this. Meanwhile, I don't know one person that wants a system to know them more than other humans, but I digress. Continuing on, Zuckerberg said on a podcast last week that he thinks the average person wants to have more friends and connections with other people than they currently do. Now that, sir, is true. And that AI friends are a solution. Now, how did we just go from that to that? No, the in-between was, and learning how to build those friendships are the solution. I just don't understand why we are just trying to throw AI to step in for everything. See, I know that we don't want AI friends because just like we don't want curated messages that we had an AI chatbot write for us to go to somebody else because it feels too polished and unhuman. We like the human experience because it reminds us that we actually are not perfect and that that's okay. I just am baffled by this idea that he's trying to push. The average American, I think, it's fewer than 3 friends, 3 people they'd consider friends, and the average person has a demand for meaningfully more. I think it's like 15 friends. He, as in Mark Zuckerberg, said in the interview with podcaster Dwarkesh Patel. Now, he said, I think 2 times, as in, again, this man is randomly throwing out what are not even facts, just things that he thinks is happening. Now, yes, that is a fact that people have 2 or fewer close friends, and that's really the crux of this. It's about being known deeply by others, and the reason that we're not there is because we don't trust other people or we have a fear of rejection. Both of them are rooted in a pain that has happened to us before. And how do we think AI is going to stop that from happening? By having a one-way interaction with us where suddenly they know everything about us, yet they can't feel and they don't have emotions like us. On a separate podcast with media analyst Ben Thompson, Zuckerberg continued, "For people who don't have a person who's a therapist, I think everyone will have an AI." Oh my gosh. I mean, this is just going from bad to worse. Yeah, let's just tell a machine everything about ourselves and let them hold the proper space for us and then direct us on what to do in interacting with other humans, even though they themselves are not one. That seems like a good plan. When someone is making a purchase and needs to speak to a person from the business, an AI agent will be there to help them, Zuckerberg said Tuesday. Well, I'm sure we're all loving the AI chatbots now when we're trying to reach a human representative when we have to scream in all caps at them, "Please let me speak to a human." Yeah, no, we're loving the AI agents so far, Mark Zuckerberg. Please continue. I mean, where is this going? The Tuesday talk capped with a media blitz that included high-profile podcasts and public talks with fellow tech executives, including Colason, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, and Databricks CEO Ali Ghodsi. While the Meta CEO has been a guest on podcasts before, the number and quick succession of appearances was rare. So obviously he's trying to pitch and promote this whole idea and get some groundswell behind it. Zuckerberg has had mixed success predicting how people will interact with each other in the future. Well, obviously, we can all attest to that being the case. He struck gold with Facebook in the 2000s and made lucrative acquisitions with Instagram and WhatsApp a few years later. More than a decade later, in 2022, he declared that vast numbers of people in the world would interact in virtual worlds and with augmented reality. That bet has yet to come to fruition. So why not make a new bet altogether? It seems like that's the direction he's headed. Can I be honest for a second? I want to get to know you because this entire channel is devoted to teaching adults how to build rich, meaningful friendships, and I'm part of that category too. One of the worst parts about podcasting is that all you see is numbers, not names. But you're not a number, you are a name, and you're part of this community, and I want to get to know you. So would you do me the honor of clicking the link below in the description and filling out some basic info about yourself, name, email address, and answer a couple questions so that I can get to know the person behind the screen or behind the earbuds a little bit better? I'm going to be personally emailing every single person back because I want to foster this connection. And along with that, I'm also going to be emailing you my guide to my 15 favorite questions to ask to start a more meaningful conversation. So click that link below. I truly want to get to know you. Thank you so much for being part of this community. You are worth building incredibly rich friendships. Back to the show. The Meta CEO is now throwing resources at AI chatbots, both in its social media apps and in its hardware devices. Meta AI, as it is called, is accessible via Instagram and Facebook as a standalone app and on Meta's Ray-Ban smart glasses. Zuckerberg said Tuesday that nearly 1 billion people are using the feature now monthly. What he didn't mention is how many of those billion people are accidentally using the feature because when you use the search bar on Instagram, that automatically comes up instead of what you're actually searching for. Maybe we should get into the details of that. Okay, continuing on, Zuckerberg said personalized AI isn't just about knowing basic information about a user, it's about ensuring chatbots behave as good as a friend might. How do we anticipate that happening? And yes, you can come at me and be like, no, I work in AI, that's not how it works. The bottom line is robots can never replace human connections. It might sound grand. If you have been burned before by another human being and they have made you lose trust in all humanity, and you've come to the conclusion that because one or multiple people burned you, that's the entire whole of society, then yeah, an AI friend where you get to actually control what they think, say, and do for you is a pretty good option. That definitely becomes more appealing. But it's not real. It's not real. And I think we're losing sight of it. Like, it's called artificial intelligence for a reason. It's not real intelligence, it's artificial. You have a deep understanding of what's going on in this person's life. he said on Thompson's podcast. Some people, however, are not buying into Zuckerberg's vision. Hello, it's me. But here's where the article gets juicy, okay? This is a quote from a very interesting person. The very platforms that have led to our social isolation and being chronically online are now posing a solution to the loneliness epidemic, says Meghana Dar, a former Instagram executive who thinks AI friends will only make such problems worse. Yes, and amen. It almost seems like the arsonist coming back and being the fireman. Wow. Now, is that a quote? I mean, nailed it on the head with that. Meta has allowed chatbots on its apps to offer a full range of social interaction, including, creepy, romantic roleplay, even with children. The Wall Street Journal reported, absolutely not. And I'm not a parent, but parents, you have to be aware that this is a thing and be on guard for it. Stephen Schuler, a professor of psychological science at the University of California, Irvine, said AI chatbots cannot fully replace friends or therapists, but there are circumstances where the bots might be helpful. He went on to say, most people don't have access to a therapist, he said. So for them, it's not chatbot versus therapist, it's chatbot versus nothing. Woo, that was an article and a half, let me tell you. So obviously I kind of went on a rant already, but I think the point remains here is that we're in a desperate fight to bring back human connection before it's too late. And I do believe there is a strong sense of urgency that's needed for this. Because if we don't learn it now, will anybody ever be able to learn it again? How will this get passed on to the younger generations of how to build deep human connection if the ones that are still here prior to a potential AI takeover are losing the ability to do it? Which is exactly what this entire channel is dedicated to and about, helping humans build meaningful friendships and break through the surface level connection in order to do it. So it really goes back to this concept that I think we need to employ in our own lives, and that is we need to put safeguards on our AI usage. AI should not replace anything. What it should serve as is a tool to supplement your life and what you already do. But if we're using it to replace creativity, replace friendships, replace you name it, then we are literally handing the keys of our lives over to a robot saying, you probably know how to do this better than me. And if we think about it, that's insane, because as humans, we absolutely love control. Yet here we are throwing it out the window to something that isn't even human like us. I want to know your thoughts on this one. You clearly know mine, but I think it's an important dialogue for us to be discussing. And I believe that human connection is more important than ever. And beyond that, I believe that you, the person watching this right now, are worth building that level of meaningful friendships where you can actually trust another human being, where you overcome the fear of rejection because you believe that on the other side of that risk could be the friendship you've been looking for your entire life. I believe the opportunity is there for us, and it has never been as important as it is now. And I want you to join in this mission. Let's destroy our loneliness together. Catch you in the next episode. I felt that thing.